Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Minecraft. Right, it may be that I'm looking at old information, so that apparently might be how spawn chunks used to be loaded, but not so much anymore. You can still find the spawn chunks using the compass technique. You find that one right there, but then what you do is there is a much quicker way. We go and we have a look on here, and it's that one block right there, and I have a look. Now, I've got, if I look at chunk, you got the X, Y, Z, and then we have a look at chunk. Now, you can see I'm 15, 1, 1. I'm 0, 1, 1 in 12, 4, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 0. I'm in chunk 12, 4, minus 1. I'm in 12, 4, 0. 11, 4, 0. 11, 4, minus 1. 12, 4, minus 1. So that's minus 1, and that's it. So I'm 12, 4, 0, and I'm in the corner of 12, 4, 0. And basically, it's a 21 by 21. So this is 0, and that one there is 0. So the actual spawn is that block there, right in the corner of this chunk. And then apparently you go 10 chunks from that one, and then that's it. So what we need to do is we need to go 10 chunks this direction. So I'm still looking there. I need to go, so if I want to go 10 chunks in that direction, I need to go to, ignore this chunk, not chunk 12. Chunk 12 is the center one. We don't want that one. They've done it slightly. It's 21 chunks by 21 chunks. So I've got to get 12. I need to go forward until I get to the outer edge of chunk 12, 4. And I want to get to the top edge of chunk 12, 4. So that's chunk 12, 5 right there. Chunk 12, 5, chunk 12, 4. It's in the negative 1 right there. Right, hang on a minute. Let me clear that bit, and then let's go and have a look back in here. So I'm on 12, 4, 1 right there. I'm going to dig off a little bit here. It's still 12. There's 12, 4, 0, 12, 4, 0, 12, 4, 0 right there. Go up by 1. Dig that off. 12, 5, 0. So I'm up to 12, 5, 0 up there. Wait. I thought that the 10 was the bit that was... The 12 was the bit that was going to change. Traveling in this direction. 13. So what's the 5? There's so much old and outdated information with Minecraft. That's part of the problem. So it's a little bit difficult to know exactly what I'm looking at with all of the numbers here, but I'm kind of hopeful that I'm getting in at least roughly the right direction with what I'm doing here. So I'm 12, 4, 0. I don't actually know what the 5 is that's changed on that number. I'm assuming that that has got to be something to do with the height. Because looking at where I'm looking, so I go over here, and that's a minus 5, and then a minus 1, sorry, and then I go 12, 5, and that's 13, 5 right there. So it's that block that I'm changing on. It's going 12, 5, 13, 5, 0, 13, 5, 0 there, 12, 5, 0 there. So I'm just going to pop down a block right here. Like that. It's a double block, and that's just going to mark the edge of the chunk. So I think that square, that's like the one edge of the square, that is like the outer edge of the very center chunk. And from what I've been reading, I'm looking around, I probably should have spent a little bit more time looking this up. I just need to go 10 chunks from there. Ignore the middle one, and you go out 10 chunks from there, and then that's kind of like the outer edge. And then I need to do it in the other direction as well. We go in all 4 directions, just move out 10 chunks, and that's roughly everything that you want. That's a 21 by 21 chunk area, and that should give us everything that we want. I did just have another quick sort of bit of research, but it seems that the whole thing with throwing down blocks, some people are saying that it can still work, others are saying not, but from 1.14 up to 1.15, how the spawn chunks worked and so on, and how you find them, did change quite considerably. So I'm just going to go with this really simple method that I read, and yeah, we're looking in here. Okay, so those of you a bit confused by all the numbers I've just been rabbiting on about, on the left-hand side, halfway down, there's a little bit of a gap. You got like a second paragraph, and it says X, Y, Z. Those are the block coordinates. 2 lines down below that is chunk, and you got 1, 5, and there's 3 numbers that change quite a lot. That's telling you the block number that you are in the chunk. And then the second lot of numbers, it says in 1350. That is actually the chunk that we're standing in. The center number is the Y. It's doing it in cubes of 16 by 16 blocks. So you can ignore the center number. It's just 120. That's the only important one. And that's where we change from 120 to 130 right there. Okay, so it's nice and simple. Now, in theory, we should respawn every single time on top of that square right there. We shouldn't respawn anywhere else because of the changes that were made. And so, in theory, if we were to have a terrible accident and we lost everything, it should, everything that we've lost should... we should respawn there and nowhere else. So we're going to have a terrible accident. There is something absolutely terrible and awful about to happen to us. There's nothing that we can do about that. We're going to go in here and we're going to take that off. We're going to go in here and we're going to put this stuff. Let's just move that along a little bit, and we're going to do that there. So I know I'm about to lose 11 levels of XP as well. It's a small price to pay. Right, so we want to start losing a little bit of health. I need to do it faster than that, than climbing up there. We need to find a quicker way to perish fast. Ooh, I know what we can do. Let's go in here. Let's take a few more of them. And then we'll go over this side, like this, because it'd be quite handy to be able to, like, die right next to where it is that we want to respawn anyway. So I'm going to go just here, and I'm going to put down cobbly stone right there, like that. And I'm going to go up by 8 blocks, and then I'm going to press Control, and I'm going to jump out like that and respawn. And it's going to respawn me in my bed. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up my bed, and I'm just going to drop it in there. Now, because I've removed the bed, I no longer have that option. Using the bed is not going to benefit us any longer. So we should, in theory, now the bed has been removed, we should spawn back in that bit over there, right on the original spawn point, because we don't have a bed in place. So if I go and bounce my way up the side of the mountain over here, which is onto there, and then up this way, round the edge, and boom! Right, respawn. See, I've gone and lost... Ooh. Right, see, now where I am, I'm in chunk 11 for -1. So 11 minus 1. That's the chunk I'm in. That one over there is 11 0. But I was just spawned in 11 minus 1. So that cube there, that line there, may be in the wrong spot. We may need to be on this side of it. But we're going to do another test. We'll do a couple more tests, and we'll just make sure that we are spawning in that same one chunk every time. If we are, then this is a relatively easy thing to go and deal with, because we don't have to worry about anything else, right? We're in that chunk, and we can just count 10 chunks out from there. We know the outside line of chunks isn't much good, but we're not going to be building very much in that anyway. There we go. Right, respawn. And that's put me over here. And it's the same chunk, 11 minus 1. In fact, it's pretty much the same square even. So 11 minus 1 is the one that we want to be in. So we'll just make a note of that. 11 minus 1. We've got to remember 11 minus 1. So we don't want to be in there. If we have a look here, I've gone and put this one here, and I put that right on the very edge. So chunk is 12 minus 1. I actually need to be over here. Wait a minute. 11 minus 1. Oh, yeah, of course. Right, 11 minus 1. 11 is over there. This 12 is actually chunk number 1 in our count. So I can remove that bit, and I need to put that over onto this side so that it is in the minus 1 chunk. Is that 0? This is minus 1. And 12, well, that's kind of like the outside edge of it. So 11, I need to actually go back down that way and put a new marker in. So I've slightly got that wrong. This is number 1 that we're marking out right here. I don't really need to go and count anything at all. We'll run over here, and we're going to go in there a second. I'm just going to take a stack of cobblestone. And now we're going to do a little bit of counting. The actual one that we want is not that line there at all. It's over here. I'll just put a double one down there, and now I'm going to have a look. So I'm looking on the chunk line. It says 12 minus 12, 5 minus 1. Ignore the 5. The 5 doesn't matter. It makes no difference. And then that goes to 13. So 12 is 1. Right? I know. It sounds confusing. When I went to school, 1 was 1. But now these days it's different. 12 is 1. 11 down there is our 0 point, so we want to be going out from 11. In this direction, I want to go 10, so I need to keep going until I reach chunk. So that was chunk 12. I'm now in chunk 13, now I'm in chunk 14, and I want to go until I reach chunk 21. And that's 10 out from where we're traveling. So this is 16, and I need to go all the way to chunk 21. Right, so I want to go back over there. I'll head back that side in a second. I need to run all the way round now. So we'll go through the gate over here, and then we'll run all the way up round to the other side of the cows and get to the edge of where we were. Right, we're on 18 minus 1, and I want to reach 21 minus 1. So I'm going to climb down here a bit. 18 minus 1 right there. 19 minus 1. Keep it on minus 1 because that was the original. And there's 20. And then 21 is going to be the 10th chunk. So this is the 10th chunk. We want to go to the outside edge of this. Now, we don't want everything in chunk 21 anyway. So there's the block. And there's 22. So that is the outside edge there. But I don't want everything in this one, because you get some that are basically slow loading blocks, chunks, and they're not quite as good. So we actually want to go and find where 21 and 20, that's the edge of 20 there. That's basically the one. I think it's one chunk around the edge. I might even have that wrong as well. I've gotten everything else wrong so far with this. But we'll put that one up there. So we've got 3, and that's the outside edge from here, which is quite a long way from a base. And that is only 1/4 of everything that we need to find. Like, there's a lot of chunks in this thing. Kind of the big one that I want to find, though. Let's just put down a bit more of this, and then we can run back over this way. There's a cow up there on that cliff. We'll leave him alone. I'm not going to get involved with that one. And I'll come in through there. And now we'll run back over this. I'm going to leave all of my gear at the moment, because quite frankly, I don't mind if we die several times or not. It's not going to make a lot of difference. So, that's a long way, and that's only 10 chunks. There's another 10 chunks that go that way, which is probably why our blocks thing didn't work at all, because we had it completely wrong. But we're right out the other side of the cows of this. We know we've got a big lot of stuff. So all I want to do now is go in that direction and find out how many we've got there. I know that the rest of it is kind of going to be out over that way. Right, I've got one that side. And then there's going to be one that side. And then we are in... So north is this way, right? So we've got the northeast chunk, the northeast quadrant there. And the northwest quadrant. The southwest quadrant. Southeast quadrant. And our main base is in the southeast quadrant of the chunks. Which means that everything else is this way. Right, everything else that we could possibly want to go and build is going to all be out this way. So we're going to go 10 chunks in that direction, 10 chunks in that direction, and we've got this massive, great big area here. Now, the more I look at this, the more I think that that might not actually be quite so bad as I initially thought. So long as we've got just enough room out that way, and then we're kind of like on the edge of it all here, which... The benefit of that is that if I want to build like a massive iron farm or something like that, I could put it quite a long way from the base and it's not going to spoil the look of it, but it's still going to be within the spawn chunk. So I'm kind of thinking that now this is actually going to be a good thing. Right. Next up, we want to just like double check that we've got everything right. So that's 13 minus 1, 13, 0. So minus 1 is the center point. And I want to go out 10 from there, so I basically want to get to, from minus 1, I want to go 0 is the first one, but I just want to go to number 10. That's all I want. I want to go to chunk 10 in this direction, and that's going to find out roughly where it is. So that's all we need to do is just go to chunk 10. I'll go back over that way, so that I'm on chunk 12. I'm on 14 at the moment. Now I'm on 13 and head over this way, and essentially we get to chunk 12. But let's get rid of these numbers a second. And just to make life a little bit easier, we'll run back into our base and we'll go and have some sleep. So yeah, I know I spent an awful lot of time running around and putting stuff down, and I was doing it completely wrong. I can now go back to you, and we will put the bed back, and we've now respawn point has been set right here. You have no home bed or charged place, which is why we went to the world spawn point. Right, let's come out here, over this way. Now, somewhere around here, we need to find chunk number 10. Now, I'm on 14.4, 14.6, 15, yeah, ignore the 15 bit, because we'll find the outer edge of that. So there's 8, there's 9, and 10 is here. So this is the edge of 10. Minus 1 is our first one, so we literally, we want to come to, well, we want to go to the other edge of 10. I guess actually, you know, we want to be on number 9, don't we? So we want to be on number 9 over here. So that's going to be this line. I'm just going to put a triple pillar there, like that. But I'm also going to want to go back. Yeah, that's block 10. This one out here, this one chunk around the edge, it has slightly different properties. I think everything within here is fine. So our base is definitely easily within. So everything will keep working in there exactly as we would want it to. Now, our actual numbers were 11 minus 1. So we want to go to 11 to find the center point over here. So there's 13. I'm on 13. I'm on the very outside edge of 13.9. I want to go and find number 11. I'm on, that's 13.10 right there. 13.9. So we're on this line right here. There's 12. And there's 11. So there's our edge right there. That block there is 12. That block there is 11. So I want to go here. That's, well, I want to be in 11, and then that's 10 right in there, which is, so it's this one here. Right, I'm going to put 3 in there. All right, let's get rid of these numbers. Let's just blocking things up. So that's the edge, and then I got another edge over there, over the other side of the mountain. I've got that little bit right there. Yeah, our spawn chunks, very roughly. I'm not going to bother trying to find anything else there. I'm pretty sure there are actually other ways to, like, find more accurately the spawn chunks. Honestly, at this point, I don't really care. I just... Ooh. You go underwater... You swim a lot faster than if you're if you're below the water. You go under the water a lot faster than if you're above the water. I didn't actually realize that happened. So anyway, all of that, and yes, I got it really, really wrong. And I went and looked, because I've looked so much, and I remember doing the spawn chunks, and I looked, how do you find spawn chunks? And you've got to chuck down all of these blocks, and then some of them despawn, and it turns out I might have just been in the wrong place, which is why they despawn, but again, it still didn't seem to work properly. So there is the possibility that if I was to go and chuck blocks down over there, around that area, and then disappear into the nether for 5 minutes, we could very well actually have the whole block thing work, but I don't want to do that now. I honestly, I just can't be bothered. I just can't be bothered with it now. We've got a line. We'll go with that. Ooh, but it would be nice to know if this line does actually do anything, doesn't it? Wouldn't it? Like, it would be quite nice to know. Because if I look over here, my spawn chunk, my chunk I'm in now is 1510. So 10 was the outside edge, and this is 11 up here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to here. And so I'm definitely right out. No, I don't want to do it like that. I want to chuck them down. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just chuck a few like this. There. And I am actually going to go and do the whole test of... going into the nether again. I'm just going to do one more test, just to see. Just on this side, to see how well this does actually work. And if it works, like if it is actually a thing that you can still do to find the edge of the spawn chunks. Now, in theory, what we should have is when I come back, I spend 5 minutes in the nether. Now, I don't know how accurate that 5 minutes thing is supposed to be. It might be. It's got to be pretty accurate. So I chuck all of those there. And I believe if I go into the nether and I wait 5 minutes, and I'll time it fairly accurately this time, I should be able to come back and the stones that we've chucked on the ground... inside the spawn chunks, they will still be there because they will have remained loaded. The ones outside of that area aren't loaded anymore. They will have unloaded, and then because 5 minutes has passed, they will have been removed from the memory, and then when you reload them, they don't respawn with the blocks. I think that's how it works. Could be the other way around. It could be that the stuff despawns inside the spawn chunks and doesn't elsewhere. But I don't think that's the case. I think that we could... So I'm just going to, I'm literally going to sit here for 5 minutes now. We have a slight problem. We have a piggy in here. He has a gold sword. I, on the other hand, do not have any sword at all at the moment. And I don't have one down here either, which is... Yeah, I want a sword. I want to take him down. So I'm going to run up the top a minute. We're going to have a look at those... well, actually, fighting off a pigman is rather difficult. I don't know if he's going to stay there or if he's going to despawn. I have absolutely no idea. We're going to have a look over this way. I may have got this right. I may have got this wrong. I had to step away from the keyboard for a little while, unfortunately. So it might be that this is... Right, well... These should stay here, but the ones outside of range, they should have despawned, and they haven't. Everything's still here. So I've got no idea how this stuff works. Right, I got no idea with that bit, not a clue how that works, whether it even does or it doesn't. So the whole throwing the blocks down, that might just be some weird thing that no longer works at all. I don't know that it matters. The whole thing with the 10 chunks, that seems to be quite believable. I will obviously go and look that up yet again. I mean, that's 160 blocks in each direction, which is a long way. I thought that it was about 216 blocks by 216 blocks. So, yeah, this whole spawn chunks thing, that's the problem. There's so many different versions of Minecraft that you never really quite know which one you're looking at and which one is the right one. Now, there was a creeper just there, and then he just vanished. So, it's entirely... Yeah, see, again, it's the whole spawning and despawning and who's here and who's not and what's going on. And, yeah, I really don't know. So, I've kind of found some information, but generally it seems that most of the information we've got available is confusing at best. And that's about all I can give you on the subject at the moment, which I appreciate is not very helpful. Not to me, not to you, not to anybody. So I don't really know what we're supposed to do with that. Let's go and take this lot out of here. We'll have the chicken. I'll take a stack of dirt, I suppose. We'll have them. I've got the compass. You know, the compass can just stay there now. I don't really want that one. I will take those 2 bits. And I'll have the rotten flesh. Right. Yeah, that'll do for a minute. Let's go and put on our iron armor. I want that one there. I want that one round there. The shield can go up there. There's a bow down there. There's some melon. There's some steak. And we got cooked chicken as well. I got a raw chicken over there. I'll ignore the other stuff. I got 1 single solitary torch at the moment, which is not really a lot. Let's eat some melon now. Couple slices of that. There we go. And 1 more like that. Right, that'll do me very nicely. So, yeah, spawn chunks. I've wasted an awful lot of time hunting for these spawn chunks, and I'm none the wiser now, not really. We have got some nice dark oak trees here that have grown, and they've all grown, every single one of them. There's a lot of leaves there. I don't imagine that we've got enough dark oak saplings going to come from that, but the amount of wood that we've got from those right there will be enough to keep us going for a little while, I would have thought. You mind out of the way, sheep. There we go. And we will wander back in this way. I'm going to go and get that cow up on the cliff up there a minute. And he's not going to like this at all. Poor cow, that is the end of him. Alas, poor cow, for I knew him well. Now, I'm also going to go... Oh, wait, no, I haven't got any. I want some wheat, so that I can go and feed all of our cows over there and breed them again, so that we have even more cows, because, quite frankly, I think that would be a rather useful thing to go and do. Now that we've done all of this messing around with spawn chunks, it hasn't really worked very well. I got 15 cooked chickens in there, so the cooked chicken thing does work, it just takes a bit of time, that's all. As for the whole spawn chunk thing, yeah... tempted to just go off now for a minute. You know what? I'll worry about that in a bit. Well, unfortunately, folks, that is all we have got time for today. If you have time, do please consider checking out the links in the description down below. There is one for Nitrado, who provide gaming servers, including but not limited to Minecraft and Farming Simulator. And there is also Fanatical, who sell vast quantities of computer games at very reasonable prices. There is also a discount code in the description alongside the link. If you've enjoyed this video, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me. Get them to come and watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.